It's in his best interest to do what he's always done, which is airdrop people free money.
The biggest risk here is buying and staking Blur.
They're just going to accelerate so far ahead of everybody else. And so it turns into this whale game, right? I genuinely don't think bridging like 10 ETH is going to make that much difference.
Like in degen terms, there's zero risk. You just send ETH there, you get more back.
If I was the kind of person that just liked holding ETH, didn't like doing much trading, and I just had a bunch of ETH in my wallet sitting there, I'd probably put all of it in Blast.
Liam and myself are going to break down what Blast is, what the plays are, if it's good, not, all that kind of stuff. Down below there are chapters so you can fast forward to the sections that you want to help you navigate the video easier. Also, this is not financial advice. We're not financial advisors. Please do your own research before YOLOing into the space. Liam, TLDR, what is Blast?
Blast is the new kind of hip thing from Pac-Man. So if you don't know who Pac-Man is, he's the guy who started Blur and kind of surprised the whole NFT market with Blur, right? Because for the good and the bad, like Blur took over OpenSea. Everyone was pretty unhappy with OpenSea. Blur came along, said, we're going to give you guys a token. We're going to reward the users. Everyone was like, yay. But then turns out Blur just like accelerated the demise of the NFT market and everybody's bags went down. So everyone kind of hated Pac-Man. But then the airdrop came out and Pac-Man gave everyone like tons of free money. It was actually crazy how much money he gave. I got nearly 20 grand across all my wallets from that first airdrop. Super surprising. But this is what Blast is all about, is that Pac-Man is like a marketer first and foremost, genius at creating hype. Rewarded the token with Blur, announced he's got a new L2 coming out called Blast, hinting that the rewards will be just as good, in classic marketing fashion. And naturally, it's taken the market by storm. I think $400 million worth of ETH and stablecoin have been sent. So it's
when I look at it, when I try to explain it to someone, it's like when you go to a layer 2, you're essentially like bridging your ETH. Your ETH is not yielding anything, and this is why I think it's actually it's a really good product. Like you bridge your ETH into like the layer 2, you're getting yield on that ETH because you can't stake your ETH if you bridge it, but you're able to earn that yield natively, but then also engage in the platform itself, so you don't actually lose that like the depreciation on the token that you could get if you were staking. So like even from just a normie standpoint, if people don't like NFTs, don't like trading, don't like that, you're able to participate in a layer 2 and the ecosystem there and still generate a yield and a reward. And he knows how to market, he knows how to get people on there. Like what layer 2 is going to have this much action straight off the rip? Like it's very hard, because the hardest thing in the world is to get users onto your chain to actually kind of do something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm the last person you should ask about the technicalities behind like layer 0s, layer 1s and layer 2s. I'm a trader, I'm a degen. I just care about making money, And so, but that's the reality that Pac-Man's realized, is that all of these amazing layer 2s and tech that's getting built in crypto, the one thing that they've got lacking is a user base. And so Pac-Man's been able to get that product market fit, right? He's got the attention of all the degens, all the NFT traders, all the crypto speculators, and then said, here's an L2 that I'm going to build. It's not even built yet. But just bridge your ETH across to me. It's not even a bridge. It's just like send your ETH basically into a multi-sig wallet. And look, he's been able to raise 400 million because of it. And I think it's just, if he can pull off the layer 2, then it's really bullish. But at the same time, we could see, some really big downsides, just like we saw with Blur. If it succeeds, maybe other L2s take Pac-Man's marketing angle and game and Ponzi referral style strategy, and then that's what creates this like crazy cycle of all these L2s doing the same thing, and then we just get people sending money left, right, and center to try and get potential airdrops, and it could like accelerate out of control, right? So there's like, I'm not sure what it's going to do for the market as a whole. But I'm definitely, from a personal point of view, from a trying to make money out of this point of view, it's hard to bet against Pac-Man, because he knows that if he over delivers with this airdrop and he rewards users, that will just accelerate the amount of money and the amount of attention that Blast gets, right? So it's in his best interest to do what he's always done, which is airdrop people free money in the form of a token.
I guess there are, like, in my mind, there are two different there are a bunch of different plays, but there are two main plays that you can kind of go with. One of them is the blur side to get the blast tokens, or go on the blast side. Can you break down what you're doing and what your angle is?
I'm so glad you asked about this, because I've literally been in my Alpha Discord and we've been discussing it for like a week straight. Well, not even a week, because it hasn't been out that long. But all week we've been discussing it. It's game theory at its finest. Essentially, we know that there's going to be a percentage of tokens airdropped to Blur users. There's going to be a percentage of tokens airdropped to Blur holders, so those that have the Blur token and staking it. Again, this is a design from Pac-Man to make sure the price of the Blur token doesn't depreciate. As soon as that came out, Montreal bought Blur at about 30 cents.
Well, do you want to do you want to pull up the chart, the Blur chart?
The Blur chart. So we can see pretty much when season 2 of Blur ended. We just see this, huge run up from here, basically. So season 2 ended here. Initial people that were airdropped the token dumped the token, and we saw like a 10% dump off in the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. And then very quickly we saw this acceleration of buying, which was 123% gain, which is pretty nice. So I bought down here at 35 cents. And literally, and it's a funny story actually. Can you see this gold candle right here?
Yes.
I sold literally the minute before the gold candle.
Oh no!
So I didn't get the full profit, but that was a really easy play. I thought once we saw the Ponzi-nomics and the incentivized system from Pac-Man with staking Blur, that was an easy play. So what's the token going to do now? Well, who knows? But at the moment, people are still holding, people are still staking. The idea is that I have to stake the entire time until the season's ended. I'm not sure if the token can hold up that long. Who knows what Bitcoin and ETH do and the global macro conditions. But anyway, those that do hold it get a massive multiplier come the end of season 3.
Yes.
And then obviously the third way to get the airdrop is to bridge ETH across to Blast and commit and lock up your ETH until February. And so there's those 3 ways to get the next airdrop from Pac-Man. Everyone's kind of betting what's going to be the best strategy. How do we split our liquid between the 3? To be honest, I was really bullish on Blast on day 1, because I was like, okay, this is a no-brainer. Bridge across the liquid ETH. You're getting guaranteed 4% return.
Yep.
You're only locked up for 90 days, and you get some kind of airdrop from Pac-Man. It's like it's 4% plus. It could be 10%, or it could be 1,000%, depending on how big the airdrop is. Now I'm thinking it's flipped for me. I think with 400
million... 100%. I think I know where you're going. The way in my mind, you're going, if Pac-Man needs to, because their business, because this, I saw a tweet somewhere with the Blur Foundation or whatever selling off their Blur tokens. They're in, they want the Blur token to do really well, so their investors can kind of get exit liquidity. They can get exit liquidity. In their mind, that is what they want to do, what they want to reward. I wouldn't be surprised if in a month or two's time, when they get closer, Pac-Man will then be like, or the Blur as a whole will be like, hey, the Blur tokens are actually going to get a bigger thing, get another sweep through to get that price up. Because in my mind, the biggest risk here is buying and staking Blur. That is the biggest risk, because bridging ETH over, you're going to get unless there's obviously a big event where the thing gets hacked or whatever, you're sending ETH over. There's zero risk there. Basically, in degen terms, there's zero risk. You just send ETH there, you get more back. Whereas holding the Blur, that's speculative, but you're also playing into what they want, which is a higher Blur token price, which will help them out kind of funding wise, get their investors happy, etc. And then you've also got the NFT trading side, and that's like the actual kind of the way the Blur, you got points that way. I think that's been and done. I'm not saying it's over, but it's it is what it is. It's like, you're going to make money, you're going to lose money. That's just PvP on the market. But yeah, when I saw people throwing a lot of money into Blast, I'm like, oh, that's the easy one. The hard one and the degenerate one is the Blur token side.
Yeah. And I guess that's what I'm concentrating on mostly. So I think that, and also you got to remember with season 2 of Blur farming, NFTs were in like a perpetual down only mode. So if you're doing the farming, you're bidding for collections, and then people are selling into those bids, and the NFT floors are just like constantly downtrending. It's very hard to make money. Only the very best guys we saw were able to come out close to break even from that bid farming strategy, and then get rewarded with a 5-6 figure airdrop.
Oh, you saw what happened to Marchi. Marchi was pissed.
Exactly, yeah, because I think he spent multi 6 figures farming in losses, hoping that the blue airdrop would offset that, and I think he ended up at a loss. So, but this is where things are different for me, because we're at a different stage of the market. We've seen with what's happening with GameFi, with gaming NFTs, and we've seen kind of like this meta start to begin with NFT projects dropping a token. Memeland started it. Memeland captains, they airdropped captains just literally thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. Everyone just said, okay, I want on the next one of that. And it's created this little meta. And we know NFT markets move in metas. And we've seen nearly every single project that is hinting at a token, their floor price is appreciating. And I think that their floor prices will continue to appreciate until we see a disappointing launch, until we see one of these big NFT projects launch a project and the token's a flop and it loses people money. So for me, I didn't farm season 2 Blur because I was too worried about losing money. I'm all in on it now. I'm all in on it. I'm bidding on Blur like there's no tomorrow. I'm using all my liquid to try and get in on these NFT projects at lower costs whilst they're trending upwards, in the hope that by the time
you get the points, but then you can also get, if someone tries to just dump into you, you're going to ride it up anyway. So you get the points plus the...
That's right. That's the plan. If floor prices don't go up, then that theory is screwed. But here's the kicker. It's offset in 2 ways. Offset by the token of the NFT project that I've been bidding on. So even if the NFT project drops a token and it's not great, it can still offset some of the losses that I've had from bidding and farming Blur Season 3. But I also get dropped Blur Season 3 token. Not only that, all the NFTs that I end up with, because I'm bid farming, I can then sell those and dump those back into the market. So there's 3 different ways I can offset my losses, hopefully not losses, but offset the money I'm doing to do this. And so I'm much more interested in spending my liquid doing that than spending all my liquid on Blast. And I want to explain the other reason why. This tiny little thing here in the corner, which is luck percentage, to me is everything. Mine currently says 58%. The only way you can increase your luck percentage is by drawing luck cards. And the only way you can draw luck cards is by your squad depositing more ETH. You can see my squad's at 11 ETH at the moment. Our next luck card comes at 20 ETH. I've drawn multiple luck cards, and the best I could get is 58%. 58% means 58% of the time, approximately half the time, I'll get a super spin. And the super spins are worth, as you can see, 2 to 10x normal spins. For me, this luck multiplier was not enough. I needed to see this in like the 60s, 70s, 80s plus for me to warrant putting the rest of my liquid in Blast. If I had a luck percentage, I've seen some guys with 85%, 90%. If mine was up there, my strategy would be completely different. I would be putting in so much ETH into Blast in order to get those super spins, because that's the accelerator that would get your ranking up the leaderboard much quicker. As you can see, I'm ranked 6,000. Look, maybe at the end of the season, 6,000 still gets me a decent airdrop. Who knows?
Well, like you said, it's good. It doesn't, like, the reason why I love what's happening with this entire thing is you've got people that don't give a crap about NFTs or trading, that literally go, I'm a DeFi kind of thing. I can put in some cash. I'm going to get a yield. I could then get an airdrop, like an airdrop farmer. That's great. You've got those people which are playing this game here. You've then got people that want to play the NFT game, which are going to participate as well. And then you've got the in-between, which is the staking Blur to then get points for like that part. This is why I like it, because you're in a position where if the Blast portion is a flop, you're covered on the other side. If one of the other 3 pillars is a flop, you're still covered and you're in a good spot, because there's going to be some hella salty people that only staked Blur that go like, hey, I didn't get, where's my liquid? There's going to be people that traded a bunch of NFTs that are like, where's my liquid? There's going to be a bunch of people that dumped in 100 ETH and they're like, I got my 4%, but I didn't get much on the back end because that was diluted because it was the easiest thing to do. Someone's going to be left sort of salty, not happy. And that's why I like the idea of just like spreading it out between it. And yeah, like what play is going to work, because for me, if I was new to the space, I would be hesitant. And I think you put out a tweet on this. It's like you're like the middle curvers are like, oh, is this risky what we're doing? And it's like both sides of the curve are like, Pac-Man's going to give us money. He has done it before. Right. He knows how to market. He knows how to play this. He knows how to capture the market. And if I was sitting on the sidelines, not financial advice, do your own research, it's like the fact that they were able to get people YOLOing millions of dollars into bids just to try to farm an airdrop. Like, you've got people that have fat stacks that are willing to throw in, and you're going, those are the people that have liquid that are willing to play. Getting into your ecosystem or dabbling into the ecosystem or kicking it off, that's better than having like the Reddit neck beards that have sort of 0.1 ETH that are like, oh, pump my token so I can exit at 0.15. You know what I mean? Like, it's you literally got some heavy hitters that are willing to play and roll along with it. And he's a smart guy and he knows what he's doing. I also know that when this lockup period ends, there's going to be an announcement like the day of that'll get people, because I was so ready to dump my Blur. I'm like, fuck it, dump my Blur. Then when I saw that, I was just like, God damn it. Like, you'd know he's going to do that. They've got something cooking to just keep everyone coming back.
100%.
You know what I mean?
And what you talked about with the heavy hitters is so important as well to understand, hence why my whole blast strategy is based around that heavy hitter phenomenon. So I know the heavy hitters, they've got unbelievable amounts of ETH and friends who have got unbelievable amounts of ETH. So they can keep spinning and keep drawing cards until their luck goes high. Right? And so what's going to happen over the next 3 months is they're just going to accelerate so far ahead of everybody else. And so it turns into this whale game, right? And so for me to compete, I don't want to be bridging an extra 10, 20 ETH just to jump like 100 spots in the leaderboard, right? Because at the end of the day, I genuinely don't think, if your luck is low, like mine is at 58%, I genuinely don't think bridging like 10 ETH is going to make that much difference, because everyone ahead of me already on the leaderboard has enough ETH to just keep dumping it into Blast, to keep increasing their luck until their luck is so much higher that their points just then accelerate out of control, right? And so that's like a big factor for me. If, as I said, if my luck was up there already at like 90, 95%, I'd feel much more comfortable taking my liquid away from the Blur staking and from the Blur bidding and putting it into Blast. But that's just my theory. I think luck has a really big factor to play unless you're a massive whale. And then the other part of, if you're the kind of person that just likes holding ETH because you dollar cost averaged and it's just sitting there in your wallet, that's another situation where Blast might be like positive EV for you, right? Because you get 4% APY plus whatever airdrop you get. The downside risk is an existential one, obviously. Like if there's a big hack or they rug or something like that. You know, this is crypto. Anything can happen. Like FTX going down. Like no one that could happen, right? So it can happen. It's a pretty small chance, obviously, but if I was the kind of person that just liked holding ETH, didn't like doing much trading, and I just had a bunch of ETH in my wallet sitting there, I'd probably put all of it in Blast. Across your Twitter feed, you're going to see so many different angles. For me personally, I try not to read into too much. I don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction. At the end of the day, I think that NFTs are still going to be here 1 year from now. I think ETH is still going to be here one year from now. So the question I need to answer for myself is, how am I going to use that ETH, and how am I going to play these NFTs in the best way that I can? So that's kind of my basic summary.
Sweet. All good. So yeah, that's Lee and myself's breakdown about what Blast is, what we think some of the players are, how it's all together. Drop a comment below. Tell us how much you love or hate NFTs, love or hate airdrops. Make sure you follow Lee and follow myself, all that good stuff. And I guess we'll see you in the next video.
Cheers, guys.